History books are full of kings, generals, and soldiers. Men and women who fought in the open. Who wore armor. Who had names. But in the shadows, there was another kind of warrior. One who never wore a uniform. Never led an army. Never declared war. They simply appeared. And then someone was dead. Throughout history, across nearly every civilization, from the deserts of Persia to the mountains of feudal Japan, there existed a professional class of killers so skilled, so feared, that their reputation alone could bring empires to their knees. Today, you're going to live their life. Every rank. Every training. Every mission. From a scared street kid with nothing to lose, to the most feared name in the world. This is your life as an assassin. Before we rank up, let's establish the ground rules. The word assassin itself comes from a real group, the Hashshashin, a secret order founded in 11th century Persia by a man named Hassan-i Sabbah, who built a fortress in the mountains called Alamat, the Eagle's Nest. For over 150 years, this order terrorized caliphs, crusader lords, and sultans. They didn't conquer territory. They didn't need armies. They eliminated individuals surgically, precisely, and always with a message. But the concept of the professional assassin existed long before and far beyond Persia. In Japan, the ninja. In China, the jinni, the emperor's secret enforcers. In Rome, the Sicarii, knifemen who vanished into crowds. In medieval Europe, hired blades with no name and no loyalty except to gold. Every culture, every era, every empire, they all eventually created one thing, a system to kill people efficiently, quietly, and without leaving evidence. That system had ranks. And today, you're climbing every single one. Rank 1. The recruit. The nobody. You are 12 years old. Maybe 13. You're not entirely sure, no one in your village kept records. What you do know, you're fast. You've always been fast. Faster than the other kids. You can climb walls other boys can't. You can disappear into a crowd and reappear somewhere else before anyone realizes you moved. And one day, a man noticed. He didn't introduce himself. He simply said 3 words, "Come with me." You shouldn't have followed him. But you were hungry. And he smelled like food. That was the last day of your old life. At this rank, you don't train with weapons yet. You train your body. Every single day, running, climbing, swimming, falling. You learn how to fall off a roof without breaking your legs. You learn how to hold your breath underwater for 3 minutes. You learn how to sleep in impossible positions and wake up at the slightest sound. Your teachers don't call themselves assassins. They call themselves teachers. But what they teach only kills. Your survival rate at this stage? Historically, about 40% of recruits made it to the next level. The others either ran away, were sent away, or died in training. No one explained which was worse. Rank 2. The Apprentice. Now things get real. You survived the body phase. Congratulations. Your reward, now they try to break your mind. Apprentice training focused on 3 things across most historical orders. First, patience. You would sit in a room and watch a candle burn for hours. Not meditate. Watch. If your eyes moved off the flame for more than 2 seconds, you started over. This wasn't spiritual. It was functional. A real assassin might wait 8 hours in a crawl space before their target walked past. Second, disguise. You learn to walk differently. Talk differently. Change your posture, your accent, your entire personality. Historical records from the Hashshashin describe operatives who spent years embedded in royal courts, acting as servants, merchants, even priests, before ever making a move. Years. Third, poison. Every major assassin tradition worked with poisons. You learned which plants kill slowly, which kill fast, which mimic natural death. You learned how to transfer poison through a handshake. Through ink on a letter. Through food. The scariest thing about this knowledge isn't how to kill, it's how easy it is. By the end of apprenticeship, you weren't the scared kid who followed a stranger for food. You were someone else entirely. And that was the point. Rank 3. The Ghost. Your first real test. You're not sent to kill anyone yet. You're sent to observe. Your first assignment, follow a nobleman for 30 days. Learn his schedule, his habits, his weaknesses. Who he trusts. Who he loves. Which servant he bribes. Which back door he uses when he doesn't want to be seen. You can never be noticed. Not once. If he sees you twice in a month, you've failed. This rank is where history gets fascinating. Japanese ninja culture had a specific term for this phase, Jonin's eye, the ability to see everything while being seen by nothing. They developed techniques still studied by modern intelligence agencies. How do you follow someone in a medieval city without being caught? You don't follow them directly. You follow the path ahead of them. You're always where they're going, not where they are. You bribe their cook. You befriend their stable boy. You become part of the furniture of their life, a presence they've never consciously registered. By day 30, you know your target better than they know themselves. You know which chair they always sit in. You know they have a bad left knee. You know their dog barks at strangers, but not at you anymore, because you fed it scraps through the fence for 3 weeks. You submit your report. And you wait. Rank 4. The Blade. Your first kill. The target is a merchant who has been informing on the order to city authorities. He's not important. He's not powerful. He's the easiest possible target, chosen deliberately for your first mission. They don't tell you when. They just say, it needs to look like an accident or natural causes. No witnesses. No evidence. You have 2 weeks. Historical records from multiple assassination traditions show that first kills followed a pattern of deliberate planning, not impulsive action. The Hashshashin reportedly required their operatives to complete surveillance, plan at least 3 exit routes, identify which method would draw least suspicion, and have a prepared cover story for their whereabouts. You choose poison. You've learned the merchant drinks wine every evening at the same tavern. You know which cup he prefers. You know the serving boy can be distracted by a dropped coin. The night comes. You sit 2 tables away. You watch. You wait. You move when no one is watching. 3 days later, the merchant dies of what everyone assumes is a sudden illness. You feel nothing. That worries you more than anything. Your handlers say that's exactly right. Rank 5. The Specialist. You develop a signature. By this point in historical assassination orders, operatives were often trained to specialize. Not every assassin killed the same way, because not every target died the same way. There were specialists in close-quarters combat, the Sicarii of ancient Judea, for example, who used short curved daggers in crowded spaces and vanished before anyone realized what happened. In the chaos of a market, a man could be dead for 30 seconds before his neighbor noticed. There were poisoners who became so skilled they could calibrate exactly how many days a target had left, useful for establishing alibis, for making kills look like illness, for timing deaths to coincide with political events to maximize chaos. There were long-range specialists. Yes, long before rifles existed. Persian and Byzantine records describe bowmen employed specifically for single-target elimination at distance. Not archers in armies. Individuals positioned on specific buildings for specific targets. And there were the infiltrators, the most patient kind, people who spent years, sometimes decades, building relationships with targets. They killed with access. With trust. With a cup of wine given by a friend. Which kind are you? You choose your specialty not because someone told you to. You choose it because after 5 missions, you've discovered what you're naturally best at. And in this profession, naturally best means still alive. Rank 6. The Shadow. You start training others. This is where the role shifts fundamentally. You're no longer just a weapon. You're a craftsman, and now, you're expected to make more weapons. Historical assassination orders understood something that modern military strategists still debate: the most dangerous asset isn't the best killer. It's the best teacher of killers. The ninja tradition in Japan had this down to a science. Higher-ranked operatives, called jonin and chunin, spent years not on missions, but teaching and evaluating students. They designed training programs. They identified natural talent. They knew that 10 average operatives trained by a master were worth more than one exceptional operative working alone. At this rank, you start seeing the full picture of how an order actually functions. It's not just killing. It's a business. Clients who pay commissions. Handlers who negotiate contracts. Analysts who research targets. Forgers who create new identities. Chemists who supply materials. You realize something that shocks you: the order is an organization. And organizations have politics. Some members want to expand. Some want to stay hidden. Some are loyal to ideals. Some are loyal to money. You've spent years learning to read targets. Now you're learning to read colleagues. That skill might matter more. Rank 8. The Architect. You change history. At this level, you're not executing individual contracts anymore. You're shaping political outcomes. The most significant historical assassinations were never random. They were calculated moves in larger games. The murder of Archduke Franz Ferdinand that triggered World War I. The assassination of Julius Caesar, not a crime of passion, but a precisely coordinated political operation involving over 20 men who somehow all kept the secret. The killing of Thomas Becket, Archbishop of Canterbury, orchestrated to solve a political problem for King Henry II. An architect doesn't just kill people. They choose which deaths will destabilize governments. Which eliminations will create power vacuums that their clients can fill. Which targets, removed at the right moment, will redirect the course of wars. You are not a weapon anymore. You are a chess player. And the board is civilization. The weight of that is immense. History will record what happens after your work. It will never record you. Rank 9. The Grandmaster. You lead the order. Hassan-i Sabbah never left his fortress of Alamat for the last 35 years of his life. He didn't need to. He controlled an intelligence network that stretched across the entire Middle East. Kings sent him gifts, not out of respect, but fear. At this rank, you are no longer one person. You are an institution. Your personal history, where you came from, your real name, how many people you've killed, none of that matters anymore. What matters is what you represent: an organization that has survived centuries, that has outlasted empires, that has proven it cannot be destroyed by conventional force. You've outlasted 3 attempts on your own life. Ordered by people inside your own order. That's the price of power at this level. The Grandmaster doesn't fear enemies. Enemies are expected. What a Grandmaster fears is succession: what happens when they're gone. Because every order that lost its leader without a plan either fractured, corrupted, or vanished. You spend more time thinking about the future of the order than any individual mission. You haven't held a blade in 15 years. Your hands are clean. That's the most dangerous thing about you. Rank 10. The Legend. This rank is not given. It cannot be earned while you're alive. The greatest assassins in history, Hassan-i Sabbah, the legendary Mochizuki Chiyomi who built a network of female ninja spies in 16th century Japan, the Sicarii leaders of ancient Judea, their full impact wasn't known until decades or centuries after their deaths. Because the most effective operators left no trail. The highest-ranking members of assassination orders often don't appear in the historical record at all. They were too good at what they did. The legend is a paradox. To achieve it, you must be so skilled that history barely noticed you. But your effects, the wars that didn't happen, the tyrants who changed course, the empires that survived because the right person died at the right time, those are written everywhere. You never become famous. You become a rumor. A name that parents use to warn children. A whisper in courts. A shape in the dark that diplomats mention when they want to explain why a problem suddenly solved itself. From a hungry child who followed a stranger for food, to a name that kings refused to say out loud. That is the life of an assassin. What made assassination orders so persistent across so many different cultures wasn't brutality. It was systems. Training. Hierarchy. Patience. The same qualities, ironically, that built empires applied to their dismantlement.